John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hey there, this is John Ulzheimer. I'm a consumer credit expert. I've got almost 30 years of experience in the credit industry. Spent some time at FICO, which is the company behind the FICO credit scoring system, and Equifax, which is one of the 3 generally recognized credit reporting agencies in the U.S. Is this too much light? No, I think we look good. So today's question is a good one. It's about the effectiveness of authorized user accounts once they have been closed. Excellent question. So this is a little different. This is very nuanced. And so you've probably seen some of my videos where I talk about the effect of authorized user accounts if you've been removed as an authorized user. But I haven't talked about what is the effectiveness of authorized user accounts once they've been closed. And actually, this can even bleed over to the primary card issuer. What's the effectiveness or what's the impact of closed credit card accounts? The same issue applies to both primary card holders and the authorized user. So let's talk about this from a authorized user's perspective, and then we'll talk about it from the primary card issuer's perspective. So first off, an authorized user is someone who is added to a primary credit card account and has permissions to use the account. They get a card, or normally they get a card with their name embossed on it, and they have the same spending permissions as the primary card holder, but they have none of the liability, and most of the time the credit card issuer will report the account to the authorized user's credit reports, and it is a common way for people to build credit. It's how I built credit back in the 1980s. My father added me to one of his credit card accounts as an authorized user. That was the first thing on my credit reports. So this has been around for a really long time. When an account is closed, all right, so a credit card account is closed, it's reported it can be reported a variety of ways depending on who closed the account. So if the consumer closed the account, then it has to be reported closed by consumer. That's a standard in the credit reporting industry. If it was closed by the credit card issuer, then it can be reported as closed by the credit card issuer. That too is a standard in the credit reporting industry, and there's language on the account that indicates, who closed it, creditor, consumer. That in and of itself is not relevant to your credit score, meaning you're not penalized or rewarded either way. What's important is the account is now closed. So as long as the account is in good standing, there is no requirement for the credit bureaus to ever remove it from your credit reports. There's no requirement to remove positive information. However, the credit reporting agencies, as of the date of this video, they all have policies whereby they will remove positive accounts from credit reports after they have been inactive for a decade. So once an account is closed and it goes inactive, then you can kind of start the clock. In 10 years from that date, the account will be removed from your 3 credit reports as a matter of policy. Who knows? That may change, and the credit bureaus may say, you know what, let's just leave that stuff on there indefinitely. Once an account has been closed, then there are certain aspects of the account that are no longer considered in credit scoring systems. And one of those is, in most cases, there's always exceptions to the rule in credit scoring. But when an account is closed, as long as it still remains on a consumer's credit report, you still get the value of the age of the account. So if you're an authorized user on a credit card that was opened 20 years ago, then you're still going to get the value of the account as if it was open 20 years ago. So it's going to help with your average age of the accounts. If it's the oldest account, it's going to help with the age of the credit report. And those are all positive things for your credit score. Once it's removed from your credit report, obviously you don't get the value of the age of the account because it's not there any longer. As far as the unused credit limit, that's the big issue. Once the account is closed, then your credit scores are not going to benefit from the unused credit limit to the extent there is any. And there is a very common metric in both FICO and VantageScore's credit scoring systems called utilization, or revolving utilization, that measures the relationship between the balances and the credit limits on your credit reports. Once you close a credit card account any unused credit limit is going to be not considered in that metric. And so what could happen, which this is always why you read advice about how to improve credit scores. They always tell you not to close credit card accounts because you lose the value of the unused credit limit. The same thing applies here. If you have a credit card account where you're an authorized user and you're benefiting from the credit limit, once that account is closed, then you will no longer benefit from the credit limit. So your score could actually go down as a result. What does this mean? What this means is if you're going to be applying for credit soon after an account has been closed, you're going to want to watch the timing. So don't go out and apply for a mortgage right after the account has been closed because your score may be lower because of the timing. So you're going to want to make sure if you do apply for something, do it before the account is closed, or do it after you've checked your credit reports and scores long enough after the account has been closed, and so you have an idea of what was the impact to your score, and then you can react accordingly, or you're not going to be surprised if your score is lower and your interest rates are higher. So if you have any other questions about authorized user accounts, credit reporting, credit scoring, then please drop them in the comments section below and I'll do my best to get to them. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk again soon.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.